right, guys. So, I guess by a popular request, this is something I've really wanted to do since I've started this channel. Is really kind of go through my collection, like my fantasy collection. Again, this is something. These shelves behind me are really the bulk of my fantasy collection. There are some like again on floating around the top, but first thing I really want to say, um, this is really good. This is going to be a new video for me. So like in terms of a new the way I'm going to approach it. So, any feedback you have really on how I kind of go through this video would be really appreciated. This is like a new format I want to try for, displaying my shelves and like kind of showing you my collection. So, accept any feedback, any comments you have. Please feel free to share them below. And as always, if you like this content I'm creating, please like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so as you guys have seen through my intro, like I do a quick run through quickly of my shelves. But so now we're just gonna do like a deeper dive, like look at each shelf row by row, and we'll do like a little bit of discussion, kind of look through some of the books I have on there. And yeah, so like I said, I'm really kind of excited to share this content with you. Like I said, I'm really kind of laying bare what I have on my shelves and showing you the stuff I collect and the books I like, and obviously some of the books you're gonna see eventually on this channel. And yeah, like I said, I think this is gonna be really fun. And this is the thing with shelfies and looking at collection. It's always a growing process. And like I said, if you like this type of video, this is something that I'll probably do like a regular update on if I get more shelves and as my collection grows, and where I kind of grow as a booktuber too, and the books, and I'm maybe getting books that you want me to read. So again, like I said, I'm really excited for this video, and I think the best thing we need to do is let's get into it.
Okay, so let's just take a first look at my first shelf here. Like I said, we're gonna go down shelf by shelf, really just looking at what my collection is and kind of how I organize it. So we're gonna start with this shelf. This is kind of like my classics shelf. So this shelf, really is where I kind of got into the fantasy genre with this shelf, starting with Aragon. This is the first fantasy book I ever read, and man, did I read it. This one is actually a signed copy. I got this signed when I was in. I actually went to the release for Brissinger, which is this copy of Brissinger here on the shelf. I got this one signed. This copy of Aragon is my first copy that I read. I'm going to take the dust jacket off here, and I'll just show you that. Yeah, it's quite beaten up, and you'll see the signature. And so yeah, this was my first real foray into the fantasy genre. And again, Eldest is also signed, Brissinger signed. Inheritance is not signed. So mainly because it was such a long gap between Brissinger and Brissinger and Inheritance, and I didn't overly love Inheritance. It wasn't my favorite for sure, and I didn't think it was a great ending. But I still kept the series. I still love the series. I've definitely feel like I've grown past this series, but it's still on the shelf. And as you see, I bought the new Paolini, and I haven't read it yet. It's still like again more of just a collection thing right now. And I guess moving on, obviously I have my Tolkien's here. I have this really nice copy of The Hobbit in hardcover that I really really like, and I really enjoy this artwork on it. So let's keep moving forward again. I got a really old copy of the Silmarillion. This copy was actually my mother's copy of the Silmarillion. I think she got it back in the 1970s, and I cherish this copy. And I got here just a compendium again of all three Lord of the Rings. And I guess continuing along is the Harry Potter books. These are the like the British hardcover collection. There's also Tales of Beedle the Bard here. So as you can see, like I got all those. I do like Harry Potter. I've been a pretty big fan of Harry Potter. I actually really enjoy the audiobooks by Jim Dale. I wasn't a big fan of the Stephen Fry copies, but I love the Jim Dale one. So again, I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I've got like wands and stuff. I've taken them off the shelf for now, just for this review. But yeah, like these are my my Harry Potter collection, and then moving on to Patrick Rothfuss. So, Patrick Rothfuss. I like his books. The first book was really good. It's a really enjoyable book. Not a lot happens in the book, but I think it's a nice book. I will eventually get Doors of Stone. Like this, the Ashes of the Sun book here is definitely a placeholder until if we ever get Doors of Stone. Who knows? I mean, he's kind of DNF'd his own series, so we'll see. There's space. And this Ashes of the Sun, this is literally just a placeholder book. This book I got at like a Value Village or a thrift store. It looked really good, and I think my wife had said had some pretty strong reviews. So, but let's move on to the next shelf. Okay, so let's get into this next shelf. I love this shelf. I'm a really big Michael Crichton fan. As you can see, I have all of his published work that is under his name as Michael Crichton. I don't have the first 6 books that he wrote under a different pen name. I do have all of his books that he wrote as Michael Crichton, and there's actually a few here that were published like posthumously after like he sadly passed away. So that is like obviously Micro and the Andromeda Evolution. Have those 2 in hardcover here. Actually, like the thing with these Michael Crichton books, I got them all at like used bookstores or thrift stores or just secondhand. Like I love Michael Crichton. He was really what I read in high school. Like I was always kind of like looking forward to the next Crichton book that came out. So like these first 2 I have here are like a compendium of 3 where these ones like I said I got these at like a Value Village for $2 to $3, and if you see them, pick them up. They're such a beautiful copy, and they have, like I said, they have the first 6 books of published under his name as Michael Crichton. If you do see here, I got this. This is a cool little book. It's a paperback copy of Congo, but it's got like a step back cover. It's really really cool. So the only thing I really don't have in hardcover for Michael Crichton, which is almost really impossible to get at this stage, is Jurassic Park. It's so hard to get. I mean, I could buy the one off Amazon. I really don't like the look of it. I'm gonna be buying the Folio Society one just to treat myself. So that'll be something I will be getting. And Dragon Teeth when I see it. Like I said, a lot of these I've got secondhand, and I love them. I love this shelf. I love Michael Crichton, and I will be doing a reread of all these on this channel. I guess moving on with Mr. Abercrombie. I love Joe Abercrombie. His books are so good. I love this grimdark genre. And again, like I said, I pick up all my books secondhand. Like I'm not too fussy about where I get them, and I pick them up when I see them. Like I said, I got a few trades. I have a few mass markets here. I am looking forward to getting the newest book that just came out 4 days ago on the 14th of September. I think it's called the Safety Among Crowds. It looks great. It's the Age of Madness book 3, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. And then lastly, like The Witcher, I really mainly just picked this up because of the show that came out. I like the show. I mean, it was okay. I just haven't got around to reading it yet, but it's a really nice copy, and I'll show everyone here. But yeah, so this is kind of like where like my fiction kind of started, and getting into like a bit of the grim dark. Except there's no real organization in my shelves except for like A, aesthetics, and B, by author, and trying to keep everyone together. So yeah, let's move on. This is my Wheel of Time shelf. I love the Wheel of Time. I love it enough to have all the books in hardcover, as you can see here. A lot of these are actually first editions, I believe. I think from The Shadow Rising on to A Memory of Light are all first printings, first editions. I even think this copy of New Spring is actually a first edition. The only one that obviously really stands out here is my copy of The Eye of the World. It's the 30th anniversary edition. I really like it. I know it's a real it really jumps off the shelf here, but I've seen the old printings, the original printings, and I've seen them for like $100, like even at used bookstores, and I just haven't really wanted to commit to that price yet. But I really love this copy. I do plan eventually to treat myself with the juniper covers. I don't know if you guys have seen those. I'll put a link, or I'll put maybe a little picture here, so you can see them of what they look like, and I think that'll look amazing on the shelf. Just to pop one of these out here, I think I'll pop out the Dragon Reborn, just to show you that, yeah, I actually have all the paperback copies of the Wheel of Time. That's why this is so forward, because there is paperback copies behind them. And usually when I do plan to do my reread this year, I'm going to be reading these paperback copies just because they're a little bit lighter, a little bit more easier to manage. But yeah, I have multiple copies of the Wheel of Time in hard and paperback. Kind of proves my my love for this series. So yeah, so Wheel of Time. I love this shelf. I love the look of it, and I think it's only going to get better once I get those juniper covers on them. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so this is where we kind of start getting on to some of my other interests and my other authors that I like. So this is actually this Jen Lyons. This is a series my wife picked up. I haven't read it. I believe she really wants to read it. So this is something I thought it just really matched aesthetically with all the books on this shelf. So eventually that'll be either read by myself or my wife. You'll say, like, keep your eye out there. Will eventually get read. It'll get there. So moving on is the Brent Weeks books. So as you can see here, I only have for the Lightbringer books 1, 2, 5, and yeah, missing 3 and 4. I just haven't found them. And again, like, my wife has started this series, and she's actually currently reading The Blinding Knife right now, and she loves the series from what she's told me. It's just I haven't seen the 3rd and 4th book. Like I said, I'm a book thrifter. I don't typically try and go out and buy a new book as it comes out. So yeah, like, I'll get them when I get them, and I do have an Amazon wish list. I don't know if people want me to post that on here, but it'll be on, like I said, they're on my wish list, and when I see them, and I'll pick them up. I'd love to get them in hardcover if I can. Again, there's I think it's the Nightbringer series, is the next one in paperback. I have a Brent Weeks. And then continuing, I have a Brian McClellan book. This one was a little rare one I found. It's the Powder Mage stuff. You don't see many of it, like, at the used bookstores or like Value Village or wherever you're kind of looking. So I got really lucky, and I picked that one up. And same for these. So for, like, the Glenn Cook and the Tad Williams, all these were, like, thrift store finds, and I think I got all those Glenn Cook books for like $8, $8 Canadian. So again, like, if I was buying those retail, it would have cost me an arm and a leg. Really got lucky with those. So I have never read these yet. Like I said, I thought they looked good. I've actually heard a lot of good reviews. One of my close friends who I've done a few buddy reads with, he swears by the Black Company or the Black Army. I think it's the Black Company. So I will be reading those. And these Tad Williams, this Dragonbone Chair series. I saw this, at a Goodwill, I think, and I got all 3 of these for like $4. So again, it's, this is how I look for books. Like, I'm not gonna go out and buy the book new unless the author's ever gonna send it to me. And you'd be amazed what you find. Like, some of these books I found that are on a lot of these shelves are brand new, and I found them at a thrift store. So yeah, so this is just kind of like a little bit more of my fantasy interests. Okay, so just moving on to these bottom 2 shelves. As you can see, these are really all Stephen King and Robin Hobb. So I'm going to be honest here, I haven't read a lot of Stephen King, and the big reason why I have all these books is because I got a heck of a deal on them. I think I got all of these books, or I would say 90% of these books, from Marketplace for $25. And a lot of these are quite rare books, especially like The Stand there. I know I've seen that book go at used bookstores for upwards of $150. Even same for the Bachman book up there too. It's like I said, I'm really starting to get into Stephen King now. Like, I'm a new Stephen King reader. I've been reading. I'm going to be reading some Stephen King books in the month of October, so please look for my October TBR. I'll talk about a book I'm going to be reading in October. One book I have been reading slowly. It's not been on really on my TBRs. Is 11/22/63, and this book has really kind of been hooking me. And I definitely plan to read a lot more Stephen King, especially The Dark Tower. That might be something I tackle next year. Is reading The Dark Tower. I've heard so many mixed things, but there's so many things like I do want to read. So there is a few Stephen Kings again that I have read, like especially in these Bachman books. Like, I've read, I think it's called The Road. or Stand By Me and the Running Man. Yeah, I love the old Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man Running Man movie. So yeah, so I've read that. I've read a few. I've read The Shining. This is just a copy I picked up at a used bookstore. So again, like these are all. A lot of these are hardcovers. A lot of these are first editions. A lot of these are hard copies to get. And I got them used. I got them secondhand. I got them on Marketplace. Someone's selling a bunch for like $25. Like this copy of It. Like it's a first edition copy of It, and it's a beautiful copy. It's got this one little tear in it, but who cares? I love it. Um, yeah. So like Stephen King, I'm really getting into Stephen King. I really like Stephen King stuff so far, and there's going to be a lot more Stephen King on this channel, especially because I'm a big fantasy guy, and what really is fantasy without reading The Dark Tower from what what I've heard. So that is going to be something I'm going to be covering on this channel for sure. And there's some Stephen King's that I want to read, like that he says are his best books, like The Stand for sure is going to be read. Lisey's Story, like Stephen King mentions that as one of his best books. I may go back and reread The Road. I do love that movie, Stand By Me. I used to be in cadets when I was in high school. And whenever we always went on a camping trip or wherever we went, we had to take a bus. We always watched Stand By Me. And great movie. And I didn't even realize it was a Stephen King story. And God, it's such a good movie. And it was such a good book. And like I think I actually read that back in high school when I was in cadets. So yeah, so more Stephen King. Like I said, I haven't read a lot of King, but I think these books look beautiful on the shelf, and everything will be read here at some point. And then I guess to round out the shelf, like I do have a lot of Robin Hobb. My wife's a big Robin Hobb fan. She's read a lot of Robin Hobb. She loves the Assassin books by her. A few of these I've picked up again, just picked them up thrifting, and yeah, like some of these are really cool books. So this is my whole big first shelf that we've kind of discussed here, and we're gonna be moving on to my next shelf, which has a lot more like complete series and some of my sci-fi books. Okay, so we talked about, I think I talked about it earlier with the Wheel of Time shelf, and we talked about favorites, and I think the Discworld one might be my favorite. I love the Discworld. I love Terry Pratchett. I did originally have this all, like I had 2 shelves dedicated to Terry Pratchett, and I would gladly do that again. It's just I have so many bloody books that I just can't do it. I can't justify it right now. And like my Pratchett's are a bit of a hodgepodge. I got a lot in hardcover here. I got a lot in paperback. And I will tell you, I've only bought 2 of these books like off Amazon. The rest have all been either thrifted or bought off Marketplace. And this is one book I'm going to show you here. I'm really proud of it. Like I said, it's a signed Terry Pratchett. It's not addressed to me. It's addressed to Mary, but I don't care. I could be Mary, whatever. Yeah, so having a signed Pratchett, that just tickles me. I love having this book. And it's actually it's a compendium here of all 3. It's got the first 3 Guards books in it. But if you've seen in my reviews, I haven't been reading with this one because it's just precious. I don't want it to get damaged in any way, and it's a beautiful book. So I have every Discworld book except for 2. So I'm only missing Carpe Jugulum and Hatful of Sky. So I've been keeping my eyes out for them. It's really hard once you only need a few. When you only need a few books, it's really hard to find them. So as you can see here, I got a little bit of a mix too. I got some of the stuff he wrote with Stephen Baxter, like the Long Utopia, the Long Cosmos, and the Long War. And you can also see I've got like Truckers, and I have some of the Science of Discworld books. I only need one more. I think I need like Apocalypse or whatever it's called. And I have like Nation and Dodger, and I have the Last Hero, but I have the full art version. Oh, one thing I'm going to bring it up from the bottom shelf. I'll show you it now. It's the Hogfather like screenplay edition. So really cool. I love Terry Pratchett. If I get another shelf in here, I'm gonna have to make this like 2 full shelves again because I love Terry Pratchett. I love these books. I love the full art all across the paperbacks, and like just the wacky art of them. Yeah. So again, this I think these might be my two favorite shelves. So yeah, again going on, I got two books. Well, one book I want to discuss, that Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. So this one, I've just heard so many good things, and I my wife got it for me, and it's gonna be read. It's on my TBR, probably for next year now. But yeah, gonna read it. Everyone said it's such a unique book, and it's a beautiful book too. I'm gonna pull it off the shelf here and just show you what a gorgeous cover. Like the artwork on it, it just looks cool, and it just kind of screams like zany. And I thought it might be good to be put on the Pratchett shelf, just because it's a little bit of a mix. Um, so yeah, going on here, I got the Anne McCaffrey books. The first three are the only real good ones, I think. Like I've read them. I've read these ones, and I've read these about a couple times now. Mainly, I got into these through Aragon because I love dragons. Dragons are just my jam. And I thought, reading Anne McCaffrey, you can see Paolini's his where he pulled a lot of his stories from. But yeah, the first three excellent. This Wares of Pern, I can't remember where I got it, but yeah, I thought I just throw it on the shelf with these. These will probably move if I get another bookcase, just because I don't. They're not like super nice display copies, so they're just there that I have. And again, these Guy Gavriel K's like Tigana and Sailing to Sorrentum. My favorite author, or one of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, just screams Guy Gavriel Kay. He always is touting Guy Gavriel Kay, and I saw these two copies, and I thought these are just beautiful. So I'm gonna buy them. I will read them. Like I said, these are all bought secondhand. These are all bought. I bought this at a thrift store. Like these spines aren't even cracked on these, so these are in perfectly beautiful condition. And yeah, Guy Gavriel Kay, like he's on my big TBR for me. So, all right, so let's move on to my Sanderson shelf. Okay, all right, so moving on to the Sanderson shelf. It's no surprise that I love Brandon Sanderson. I think most anyone who reads the fantasy genre can't escape Brandon Sanderson. And I mean, why would you? He's the most prolific. I think he's the most prolific writer right now, and the most consistent. Where the guy could write anything and it'd be good. So I guess we'll start from left to right here. So I've read all the Sandersons. The only thing I haven't read of Sanderson that's like in the Cosmere at least is the White Sands. But I'm really waiting for the White Sand compendium to come up. So once that's out, I'm gonna buy that and I'm gonna read White Sand that way. Or sorry, the omnibus, not the compendium, the omnibus when it comes out. All right, so let's go through here. So Warbreaker. Warbreaker is actually one of my wife's favorites, and I got this leather-bound edition here. I'm going to pull it off and show you the. Obviously, it's signed. All of the Brandon Sanderson leather-bounds are signed, and just the beautiful artwork in it here. I'll just show you like a picture here. Absolutely beautiful. I love this book, and this book too. I love this book. There'll be a review for every Sanderson eventually on this channel. I love Warbreaker. This is probably my favorite standalone. I will be doing eventually a ranking of the Cosmere, and you'll see where I rank Warbreaker. Okay, so this is like really the pride of my collection, is these Way of Kings leatherbound. So my wife and I, we backed the Way of Kings Kickstarter when it came out, and we have a signed copy here. I'm going to pull out the first one, show you the signature. Again, just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Spared no expense, Brandon. This is such a beautiful book. It was worth every penny, and I can't wait for the next one with Words of Radiance. I swear, the way Brandon, like I'm gonna have I swear one day I'll just have a whole shelf of Brandon, because the guy's such a prolific writer, and he's got so many more books planned. So, yeah. Again, so that's the Way of Kings leatherbound, and I guess just moving on here with more of the the Stormlight books. I have all four on hardcover. Again, just gorgeous books. I think one of them is actually signed. I think my Words of Radiance copy here is signed. Let me double check. I'm gonna pull this off the shelf Yeah, yeah, this one is signed. Yeah, my Words of Radiance is signed. So yeah, again, I just love anything Brandon. The guy, whatever he writes, is just pure gold. Going on, I got Wave Kings Prime. I got this with the Kickstarter, and same for Dawn Shard. And I also have a hardcover of Edge Dancer. And these are where I kind of get into like a mix of paperbacks and hardcovers. So Elantris, I just read Elantris for the first time this year. You'll see the review on my channel. It's actually my first ever book, or first ever book review I did was on this channel was Elantris. So check that out and see what my thoughts are. I have the Arcanum Unbound as well, or Unbounded, and that I've been trying to find a hardcover for that, but it's just it's been eluding me. And same for Mistborn too. Mistborn Era 1. I got these again. I got these at a thrift store of all places, which is amazing. Like, not many people get rid of their Sandersons, and I got these three beautiful copies. Like, they weren't even read. You can tell like by looking at the spines that they weren't even read. The copies I've read, they're no longer with me because they just been read and read. And then we have my Era 2 books. Oh, I cannot wait for book 4, The Lost Metal, coming out this November. Or, sorry, next November. I know it's finished. Sorry, next November it comes out. I love Era 2. Actually, like, I guess to give a little spoiler to where I rank my Cosmere, but I love Era 2. Era 2 I would put over Era 1 in my mind. You can blaze me in the comments, that's fine, but I love Era 2. And maybe I'll talk about that more when I do my ranking of the Cosmere. So yeah, this is my Sanderson shelf. There is a little bit more there, like, because there's so many Sanderson books that it does spill over onto the next shelf. So let's get into the next shelf. Okay, so carrying on here, as again, these are, like I said, there's a continuation of my Sanderson. These are more of his YA novels. I've luckily got them all in hardcover except for Calamity. I'm still looking for Calamity, and you know what? I'll find it. I know I will. Like, that's the thing. Like, I get lucky all the time. Like I said, every book on this shelf is a thrift. It's been something I found at a Goodwill, Value Village, used bookstore, you name it. Like, you can find some unbelievable books. I know I'm probably repeating myself, but it's really just to stress that, like, you know, you don't have to rush out and buy the newest thing or buy it from like the big box stores. Like, you can find beautiful books. You can find signed copies too at used bookstores because they don't care what, they just put them on the shelf. So yeah, I guess moving down, like, so these are my Sandersons. I do have like my paperback copy of Warbreaker here. I couldn't get rid of it. Even though I have the leather bound, I love I love this book. So moving on, like I said, I have started and I have read Gardens of the Moon. I did like it. It's a bit of a challenging read, I thought. But it does make me want to continue with Malazan, and I'm slowly kind of collecting the books here too. So yeah, Malazan is something I'm gonna read eventually. Like I said, I've started my collection, and yeah. So moving on, so some Mark Lawrence books. I've actually only read the first book here, The Prince of Thorns. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the main character in that book. That's just a devious character, and not a protagonist. I guess he's like an antagonist, really. But yeah, so I really liked his writing, and every time I've seen a Mark Lawrence book when I've been out looking for like books, I've picked it up, and I'm really looking forward to reading the Red Sister. I've heard so many good things about this series, and that's definitely really high up on my TBR, and I will be reading it at some point, probably next year. So I think it's called like Book of the Ancestor is the series, and I've just heard such unbelievable things from a lot of the booktubers I watch. So I'm looking forward to getting into that one with Mark Lawrence. So Martin, you're gonna see there's not a lot of Martins on my shelf, or this is the only Martin on my shelf. I I mainly have this one because I got it for $1, and because it's about the Targaryens. The Targaryens are the only thing that really interested me with George R. R. Martin, so I picked it up. But yeah, really the other series like the Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire books, I was not a fan. Like, I read the first three, and I thought the first three were really good, mainly because they were probably written so closely together. They were a really tight story. But book 4, it kind of labored on, and book 5, I was like, what is this? It made me actually donate them, because book 5 was a struggle, I will say. And maybe that's something I'll discuss in a later video. About Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, and why I didn't hold on to the series. I didn't enjoy it personally. I liked his writing style. I wouldn't say it's super accessible, but yeah, it's good. So I'm looking forward to reading this one eventually. I got it for $1, so I'm not in it. I'm not invested in for much. And if I read it and I don't like it, boom, I'll donate it to someone else who will enjoy it. So I have no qualms doing that. And yeah, I guess moving on here, the Lycanius trilogy. So I have books 1 and 3. I found these both thrifting again. So I really don't know much about this series. I saw these covers and I saw these. I'm like, I've heard about this Lycanius trilogy. I've heard about James Islington. Cannot wait. I've only heard good things. I cannot wait to read it. But really, tell me below if you think it's worth picking up and moving up on my TBR, because I've heard such good things, and I know the audiobooks are narrated by Michael Kramer. So that if Kramer's got his name on it, it automatically tells me that it's good quality book. So yeah, so that's this shelf. We're almost near the end here. Just two more shelves left, and or two more rows left, and we'll be done. And we'll kind of round out what my collection is. And like I said, it's ever growing. Okay, so this is my second last shelf here. So it's really, this one's a bit of a hodgepodge actually. It is and it isn't. A lot of Redwall. I read the first few Redwall books when I was a kid, back in like I think early grade 8, and getting into high school, and then I kind of stopped reading them, and I never got back into it. And these I actually all picked them up. I think I picked them all up at the Goodwill again. Like I said, I'm gonna be a broken record with the Goodwill thing or the Value Village. And I got these all, and I really actually looking forward to reading these with my son and my daughter. And I just remember them being a really fun, like little tight little stories for a little kid, like for younger audience. And I'm looking forward. I've really got them on the shelf because I'm looking forward just to reading them with my kids. So these are books I'm going to be keeping on the shelf to read with my children when they're a little bit older. And yeah, I look forward to that. Really looking forward to that. Again, a few Agatha Christie's here. We may see one of those on my October TBR. So keep your eyes peeled for that. This next series here by Daniel Abram. This is a book. This is one of my wife's books that I thought it just kind of really flowed nicely into the David Eddings. Like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason to why it's here. It's just I just had to put it on the shelf here. So the Belgariad by David Eddings. Oh man, I love these books when I was a kid. I read these in high school as well. And I love the Belgariad. And this is one of the first books I believe I introduced my wife into the fantasy genre. And she read the Belgariad, and that's where she really started to get her teeth into the fantasy. And she moved up into like Sanderson then, and she's just loved it too. So yeah, David Eddings, just this classic, fantasy like Belgariad, like farm boy kind of story. And I guess I haven't read the Malorian and the Elenium. Those are something that I do have to read. And Ursula Le Guin as well too. So this one, I got this at an unreal deal. I thought it was a beautiful book, and I've heard so much of A Wizard of Earthsea. It's just getting around to it. Like I'm really, these are books too I also plan to read with my children. So a lot of these books that'll be coming up that I plan to read with them. So really looking forward to that. Okay, so let's move on to the last shelf here. Okay, all right, so the last shelf. So this shelf is it's really like a little bit of fantasy, like a little bit of the fantasy here with Michael J. Sullivan, and then it's really kind of gets into my my sci-fi. And this is really kind of where I'd like to get some feedback from you guys. Like, what sci-fi should I read, and what should I start looking for and picking up and putting on my shelf here? So I guess just to start, get these Michael J. Sullivans out of the way. These are actually my wife's books. She loves Michael J. Sullivan. She recently just read the first two, I guess the first two Chronicles or Rhyria books here. She really loved them, and it's definitely something I'm going to be reading in the near future. So yeah, really looking forward to reading the Rhyria books. So moving on into The Expanse by James A. Corey. So again, like I said, I think Leviathan Wakes is the only book I've bought from the store. So Out of everything on the shelf, everything that's the only one I bought from like Chapters or Indigo, mainly because I wanted to get it because I haven't found it elsewhere. But the Abaddon's Gate and Persepolis Rising, I got those secondhand. I just love the name of all these books. All these books, like for the Expanse, they just have the coolest name, like Leviathan Wakes or Kibola Burn or like I said, Abaddon's Gate. Like these are just cool books. I actually haven't watched the show for the Expanse, so I'm really looking forward to getting into these. So if I will buy these if I need to. So I'm gonna be starting Leviathan Wakes next year, or I may even start it like in December. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading these, and they look cool. The names are good. Everything I've heard about these are unreal. So okay, Douglas Adams. I love Douglas Adams. As you know, as you can tell, like from all my practice, I love the absurdist kind of comedy. I've read this book. This is all 5 books here in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I've read all of these. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Like so funny. I love his like Douglas Adams type of humor. Very similar to Pratchett. Like, but he's a little absurd for the sake of absurdity, whereas I think Pratchett is more of his flow is a little bit better into his world. But yeah, okay. So these Pierce Brown books, these are my wife's actually. I got to read these. These are on my TBR. They're quite small. I could read these in like one of the first one in an afternoon. So they're on there. They're my wife's books. I thought they fit here for now. I will eventually review them. So Philip K. Dick, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep or Blade Runner? Wow, yeah, love this book. I'm actually going to be doing a reread of this soon, so just keep your eyes out for it on like some of my TBRs because I cannot wait to talk about this book. Okay, so what else do we got in here? We got 1984. Yeah, I read this book back in high school. What a book! I love this book. Scary book. It's also kind of relevant. I mean, this book will always be relevant. So yeah, so well, I'll talk about 1984 at some point. So going on Hyperion and the Fall of Hyperion. These ones I just picked up at like a Value Village. I've heard so many good things about this series. That by Dan Simmons that I couldn't not pick them up when I saw them. So this will be I don't know, like I've heard that these are sci-fi and I heard it's like a sci-fi fantasy mix. Comment down below and tell me what you think like about this series. So, but I am looking forward to getting to it. So Dune, oh man, Dune. I recently just reread Dune. Dune was in my September TBR. There will be a review coming out for Dune very soon, definitely in the month of October. So look out for that. I'm really excited for that video. Man, what a book, Dune. Whew, I cannot wait to talk about it. I'm not gonna say any more because it's all gonna really be covered in that Dune review. So check out that again. And there's more Frank Herbert books there. I think I have Children of Dune here, and then the God Emperor of Dune. I'm just gonna pull these out because like these are really cool covers. These are the older ones. They aren't this new one, like this new cover of Dune I have here. So yeah, so look for Dune eventually. It's gonna be coming out this review, and I cannot wait to talk about it. And I cannot wait to continue with Frank Herbert. I've heard not to read any of the Brian Herbert stuff because it's just garbage from what I've heard. But Dune, my goodness, what a book. Okay, going on, The Martian. I love this movie. I love this book. I've actually picked this up the other day at I stopped into like a thrift store, and I saw it, and it was an immaculate, beautiful condition, and it just replaced the movie copy I had. Yeah, so that's that, and I guess it's kind of anticlimactic to round it off here with this Adrian Tchaikovsky book. Um, I just picked this up randomly. I heard about I Goodreads the series to see if it had a decent rating, and it did. And my wife's like, pick it up and we'll read it. Like us, we'll read it. So I thought it looked gorgeous, so I picked it up. Probably a weird place to end it, but yeah. So this is all my shelves, and I think we're just gonna come back and center on me here, and we'll round it out.
All right, guys. So that's my collection. Like I said, I probably sounded like a broken record, kind of going over everything, like how I've gotten my books and how I collect books. again, like this is just a work in progress for me. Like, you know, all book collections are really a work in progress. And like I said, there's no real rhyme or reason to way I organize my books. Like everything on the shelf, like I love whether I've read it or not. I just love the way it looks on the shelf. And like I said, you know, my TBR is pretty long, and like these books will all get read at some point, and I'm sure I'll be adding to the ever growing collection. So I just want to thank you again for you know, for looking through my collection here with me, and just talking about the books I enjoy. And you know, I hope this has kind of inspired you to, like, you know, just even like how you purchase books. Like, you don't have to again get that newest book from Kohl's or Indigo. You know, look at your used bookstores, look at your thrift stores. You can find some beautiful, amazing books like I've done. Like I said, even all these Wheel of Time hardcovers. I think I've only had to buy, the only two I bought was you know, The Eye of the World and Memory of Light, because those are the only ones I couldn't find. So all the rest I found at used bookstores, thrift stores. Um Again, so just, you know, this just again, thank you for just taking the time with me. I know this is a bit of a long video, but yeah, I just really just wanted to share my collection with you, and I'm sure I'll be doing an update in the future of when my collection has grown, and any changes that come with it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.